Ryu didn't hesitate. He activated his death transformation and inquired, "Do you mean this?" Darkness surged over his body like a living shadow. His eyes glowed, his form shifting, and the atmosphere instantly turned suffocating. Both archangels froze. Their eyes widened in shock. They had not expected him to use the form again so soon. Ryu said, "Surprised? The cooldown's already up." And he inquired, "Why would I come back if I wasn't confident I could take you?" He stepped forward, aura radiating murderous pressure. The battle was seconds away from erupting, and then Uriel broke first, shouting, "Attack!" At his command, the 200 hidden troops burst from the trees in a thunderous wave. Fifth-rank battle angels charged, weapons glinting, all rushing toward the black figure who stood so calmly in front of them. Uriel retreated slightly, shimmering light gathering in his hands as he prepared spells to suppress Ryu from behind. Raguel, meanwhile, looked ecstatic, malevolence shining in his eyes, and said, "I've been waiting for you to transform. Now I'll kill you." He lunged forward with his subordinates, bloodlust radiating like heat. Yet surrounded by enemies, their murderous cries filling the air, Ryu remained utterly calm, and he asked himself, "Shall I show off a bit?" In the very next second, he vanished. Not a sound, not a trace, just gone. The angels froze, whirling around in confusion. Weapons swung at empty air. Uriel's nearly completed spell, a scroll of light, twisted awkwardly before sputtering out into nothing. He inquired, "Where did he go?" Both Uriel and Raguel frantically scanned their surroundings, panic flickering in their expressions. Even archangels, beings of divine perception, couldn't find him. Ryu said to himself, "Not even archangels can see through invisibility? Or maybe it's the stealth rune hiding my presence entirely?" Good information, valuable information. He moved in silence. Then, bones snapped like twigs. Bodies dropped to the forest floor like puppets with cut strings. One enemy, then another, then another. Necks twisted before they even realized he was behind them. One shouted, "Archangel! Over here! Urk!" Another angel fell, his voice dying halfway, and a message appeared. Number of angels killed, 21 out of 100. Uriel, normally the picture of celestial composure, finally snapped. He roared, his voice cracking with urgency. "Stop him! All of you, attack!" But the forest responded only with silence. Not a single angel obeyed. Uriel's face twisted. His pride as an archangel was crumbling. He said to himself, "Damn it! At this rate, my spells..." Ryu moved like a phantom among the trees, so fast that the very air seemed to tear as he passed. No matter how many spells Uriel knew, none of them could restrain a monster moving at that speed. Uriel clenched his jaw. His golden eyes hardened with resolve, and he said to himself, "There's no choice. I'll burn everything down if I must." He lifted his dagger high, and holy light flared at its tip, gathering in a blinding sphere. The moment Raguel noticed, his expression twisted into horror. His voice trembled, inquiring, Uriel, are you seriously going to use that spell? If you misfire even a little, our soldiers will..." Uriel barked, saying, "We have no choice. Do you have any better way to stop that monster?" Raguel fell silent. His lips quivered, but not a single argument came out, because he knew Ryu was no ordinary opponent. His movements defied logic, faster, stronger, and infinitely more terrifying than he'd been just an hour ago. He asked himself, how can we stop someone like that? Raguel shook his head, despair filling his once bright eyes, saying, "It's impossible." Even Uriel, one of the most powerful archangels, was admitting defeat. What hope did Raguel have? Uriel growled, saying, "Every second we delay, more of our soldiers die. This spell is our only chance." Raguel tried to say something, but Uriel said, "No more talking. You're delaying me." Raguel lowered his head, saying, "I apologize." Uriel returned to chanting, his voice rising and falling like a holy chorus. Light swelled brighter and brighter at the dagger's tip, radiant enough to illuminate the entire forest. He said to himself, if this goes on any longer, he'll notice. But what Uriel didn't realize was that Ryu had already noticed. Even while tearing through angels, he never once removed his gaze from the archangels. Ryu said to himself, "So that's your plan. A large-scale annihilation spell. Enough to obliterate everything within 100 meters, including your own men." Ryu checked the glowing system windows floating before him. Angels killed, 100 out of 100. Demons Demon's Blessing can now be activated. Enemies detected within 100 meters. 102. Rune of One against many effect. All stats plus 100%. His stats surged. Power flooded through him. No hesitation. He activated the buff. Demon's Blessing activated. Holy light swirled in Uriel's hand. But darkness surged in Ryu's. A wave of shadow burst outward. Night of death. The entire forest was swallowed in pitch-black night. Angels cried out in confusion. Uriel scoffed, saying, "Do you think darkness can stop me? I am light incarnate." The radiance at his dagger's tip blazed even brighter, the only beacon in the void. Uriel said, a grim smile forming, "Raguel, brace yourself. It's ready." He raised the dagger, when a streak of silver ripped through the darkness. Red eyes flashed. Moonlight tore the battlefield apart. 35th rank angels vanished in a single strike. Uriel's scream followed as his severed arm hit the ground. The spell collapsed instantly. The radiance faded. The blinding halo died. Uriel staggered back, face pale, saying that wasn't just a skill. It was devastation itself. He had underestimated Ryu, fatally so. And Ryu wasn't finished. Moonlight erupted again. Angels were swept away like dust in a storm. Their screams were swallowed by the sound of tearing reality. And message window appeared. Angels killed 100 out of 100. Raguel spun in circles, voice cracking with panic, saying, "Wu, where are you? Show yourselves, soldiers!" But his cries were pointless. The next moonlight slash severed his leg. He collapsed, clawing at the ground, eyes wide in terror. The next strike grazed his face. Half of it burned away, leaving bone exposed. The smell of charred flesh filled the air. He cried, "My face! My face! No, no, no!" Ryu approached him with calm, almost bored steps. He said, "You're worse than an insect!" Raguel screamed in rage and despair, lunging at him with the last of his strength, but he never made it close. Ryu's scythe pierced his heart before he even registered the movement. Raguel's body slumped forward, lifeless. Then Ryu lifted his gaze. Only Uriel remained, and Uriel, trembling violently, chanted another spell with his remaining arm. A cage of brilliant light crashed down around Ryu. He said, "Got you! You're—" But he couldn't complete his words, as Ryu sliced through it with a single swing. Uriel's face drained of color, saying, "No, no!" He conjured another spell. Scrolls of light, blades of holy fire, chains of radiance, all of them destroyed instantly. Nothing could slow the Grim Reaper's approach. When Ryu finally stood before him, Uriel's wings drooped. Now, at last, he understood. He whispered, "You were hiding your true strength all along," Ryu replied, expression calm. "I needed your soldiers," Uriel inquired. "What? You lured me into summoning them?" Ryu said with a faint shrug. "Well, yes, though I didn't expect you to bring so many." Uriel's lips trembled. Fury, fear, and disbelief warred in his eyes, and he said, "Killing me will be a mistake. The ones above me will never let you go." Ryu said, "If I don't kill you, will they leave me alone?" Uriel fell silent. Ryu said, "Then you may as well ask me to spare you." Uriel said, "You wouldn't spare me anyway." Ryu smirked and said, "You're right." Then the scythe pierced his heart before he could blink. Uriel collapsed. His eyes remained open, still reflecting disbelief even in death, and the forest had grown quiet, far too quiet. Only the settling dust and the smoldering scent of holy magic marked where two of heaven's greatest pillars had stood moments earlier. Archangels Raguel and Uriel, both slain. Ryu exhaled slowly, lowering his scythe as glowing messages flickered before his eyes, like congratulatory whispers from an unseen world. "You have defeated one of the 7 archangels, Raguel. Stat points plus 14,536. Gold plus 145,366,800. Reward obtained. Condensed ether. Reward obtained. Rune of judgment. Rune automatically engraved. A second cascade followed, equally radiant. You have defeated one of the 7 archangels, Uriel. Stat points plus 18,170. Gold plus 181,708,500. Reward obtained. Condensed ether. Reward obtained. Rune of radiance. Rune automatically engraved. When the final notification settled, one last line pulsed brightly. Demon faction reputation, Black Scythe has ascended to eternal ally. Ryu's brows rose and he said, "So I've maxed it out completely." To the demons, this was the equivalent of slaying heavenly generals. They would worship him as a savior, perhaps even a symbol. He understood the significance, but his expression remained cool, focused. He clenched his fist, feeling the power coursing beneath his skin. He added, "2 condensed ethers, so I can finally craft a god-tier weapon." His eyes sparkled faintly. Excitement, anticipation, ambition, almost 40,000 stat points, over 400 million gold, 2 sacred runes, and the eternal favor of demons. Not a bad harvest for a single battle, but the runes, those demanded attention. He called up the first, Rune of Judgment. A translucent interface explained its power. Effect, gain 1 judgment stack per enemy killed. Max 100. Consume 100 stacks to activate. Heavenly Judgment unleashes an X-shaped magical blast, dealing 2,400% of intelligence. Ryu's lips curved, saying, "Raguel's signature attack, now mine." The second was even more intriguing. Rune of Radiance effect, move through light. Light speed, dash in a straight 1,000-meter line instantly. Teleport, fire a beam of light up to 100 meters, teleport to its landing point. Summon, fire a beam up to 100 meters and pull an enemy to your location. Ryu's eyes gleamed with genuine appreciation, saying, "And with my holy skill amplifier, that's increased by 92%. That meant 192 meters summon range and almost 2 kilometers of instantaneous movement." He let out a low whistle, saying, "Uriel, you were at least good for something." He would test the cooldown later. For now, he had a more pressing matter. A rustle behind him broke the stillness. Ryu said, "Come out. It's safe."